What's going on, everyone? This is Daryl Andrews, Coach D. And I know I normally come on Mondays with these, but I said, there's something that I want to share that I think is really important right now. And something that I've, over the years, have been talking to my customers about and coachees about and even mentees about. And so if you're a professional development person like me that's always trying to advance and enhance my skill sets, this may be something that you want to take a few moments and take a listen to because I think it's going to be helpful. Um, the the When people ask me a lot of times when we're doing, be it consulting or be it coaching or be it speaking or be in training, what's one of the greatest challenges to advancing, goals and achievement of dreams and things of that nature? I typically, without reservation, kind of go to a couple areas, but one of the key areas that I really look at, really analyze, and really share with people that they need to think about is excuses. Excuses. We hear a lot of sayings about excuses, and that is excuses are the tools of the incompetent, or you can go on and on and on. But the reality of it is that a lot of times people have become somewhat addicted to making excuses. You know, other words, the excuses have just become a normal pattern of operation. And there's a reason why, But before I give you that reason why, I want to tell you a quick story of the power of the no excuses philosophy. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm relatively smart, but I'm not genius enough to come up with this idea. But I got this idea, this thought of the no excuses philosophy from a school district. I had a chance to do a series of motivational events for about, I don't know, it's been a while now. I've been doing this stuff so long, probably about 12 years ago. And it was a school district in Florida called the Gadsden County School District near Tallahassee, Florida. And back then they had this thing called the FCAT. I don't know if they still have it or not. I don't think they do. But back then, everything was standardized testing. And one way you measured proficiency in schools was through this, in Florida was through this FCAT. I think it's the Florida Comprehensive Achievement Test. And so this school district that I was working with, and I think one of the reasons why they had me down there was to try to inspire the students to do well on this FCAT, and also to work with the parents and to work with the teachers. And so I was literally going all throughout that school district and community, just motivating and inspiring people towards excellence. And so I got a chance to sit down with the school superintendent, and his name was Reginald James. And I said, Mr. James, I said, so what's the goal here? And he said, well, our goal is no excuses. And the reason why I was saying that, because this school district had literally had been in situations where it was always like last in the state or in this, one of the bottom rungs of success with this FCAT. And he said, we're going to change that. Now, he was a new superintendent and had lived in the district, so he had a personal feel for the district, and I think it was personal for him. So they created this thing called no excuses. They had no excuses T-shirts, no excuses mugs, no excuses hats. And then they created this philosophy around no excuses. And part of the philosophy was a thing called stop, drop, and study. And so what they would do is at a certain time in the evening, students, no matter what they were doing, would have to stop doing what they're doing, drop it, and study. Stop, drop, and study. And then they had a series of type motivational events. And I was down there, and an organization called the Communities in Schools was the organization that brought me down. And we're doing this thing, and they were like, no excuses. We are not going to be one of the worst school districts in the state of Florida. We're done with this. No excuses. So they worked together. They created a plan of action. They came together. They worked together. They were comprehensive in their approach. They got kids who normally didn't want to do well in school on board. They got parents to buy in because this leader had great leadership skills. And they had me come down to do a district convocation. There's like 1,000 people there. Man, it was powerful. Packed that place out. And so they created this system of this philosophy, no excuses. Well, at another time when I was down there, later in the year, um, one of the I don't know if it was the lieutenant governor or someone was there, and he got up in the I was presenting, and he got up and presented, and he said this, and it blew me away. He said, just want to make an announcement that the Gaston County School District in the state of Florida has gone from one of the most challenged school districts in the state to now to have the second highest increase in FCAT scores in the entire state. Listen to what I'm saying, the entire state. And I looked at that and I flipped out, man. I said, you mean to tell me this district was struggling, it was going through all these problems, and then all of a sudden in the period of a year, turned it around? And the reason why they turned it around, because they had created what was called no excuses. And I'm here to tell you, for your life, and for your business, for your organization, for your school, for your corporation, whoever you are looking and listening to this, for your workforce development organization, one of the primary keys to success is when we stop making excuses for why we don't achieve things the way we achieve them, or why things aren't going a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, literally. And what the reason why is because when you make excuses, this is what we're doing. People who make excuses are basically saying, in a nutshell, I don't want to take responsibility for my shortcomings. Think about that. I don't want to take responsibility for my shortcomings. You know, it's kind of like an athlete that doesn't do well and blame everything on the coach. Well, are you practicing at the level you're supposed to practice? Are you studying the playbook? Are you looking at your competition? Are you thinking about the game plan? Or what are you doing? So if you get out there and you do poorly because you weren't prepared and you blame the coach, well, is it the coach? Is it the coach? No. I mean, sometimes it's us, because the excuses gives us justification for not doing anything. We get a sense of feeling good about it, because the reality is, if I can make an excuse, then guess what? That justifies why I don't have to do it. But when I stop making excuses, what happens is now my mind and my body and everything else is now saying, oh my goodness, we got to do something. We got to do something. That's why this is entitled the No Excuses Philosophy, because it's a philosophy that innovators and people who are pursuing dreams need to really embrace. And reason why is this, because you start getting to a certain point in life where you realize that, first of all, you ain't got forever. You know what I mean? I mean, just in the last few days of Cicely Tyson, and then I found out today, John, the guy that was the coach over at Temple, he just passed. John Chaney, he just passed away. And you start realizing, man, we don't have forever. And so at some point you got to start saying to yourself, what am I allowing myself to hold back? What's holding me back? What excuses am I embracing that's limiting my ability to accomplish what it is I want to accomplish? I remember I've written several books, and I remember when I wrote my first book, How to Find Your Passion and Make a Living at It, many, many years ago. And people tell me, some people, it's funny, some people are saying you're going to be a one book wonder. And now I got several and writing 2 more. But I had made excuses for a long time why I didn't write. I had time to write a book. Who am I to write a book? I don't know enough about research to write a book. I found every excuse in the world. And the moment I decided to stop making excuses, it took me a year to write that book. After several years of procrastinating, saying why I can't get it done, and who am I? I'm from the projects in Syracuse, New York. Who gonna want to listen to me? All these things going around through my head, man. People sometimes even close to you, giving you pessimistic thoughts and things like that. And you're like, man, I'm not qualified for this. And so I said, no, I am qualified. And I stopped making excuses. So what I did was put together a plan of action of how many pages I was going to write every day. And I'm telling you, to the letter and to the day, I was done with that book. And that book went on to impact thousands of lives throughout this country. You have a book entitled The Purpose Living Teen, A Teen's Guide to Living Your Dreams. All these young folks influenced by this book. What if I would have said, I ain't got time for that book? Or, and so I'm talking about myself, but it could be you. I mean, what is it that you saying you want to do, that excuse that become your point of justification now continues to hold you back from doing it? And so what I want you to walk away with from today, and keep in mind, we're all about wisdom talks these days. That's what I'm doing. My thing is wisdom talks. So it may be random thoughts, man. And this is one of them. What I want people that listen to this today is to tell themselves to stop making excuses. Stop it. Because what's happening is really you want to do it, but it's that excuse that's inside of you that's feeling comfortable with where it is, and it don't want you to progress, so it'll try to hold you back. It's almost like a thing, like a thing inside of us that, man, keep us from moving forward. I'm a big believer in words, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm having a great year of business. This is phenomenal. This month of January was breakthrough. It was phenomenal. What's going on here, and the number of people we're impacting. I mean, these webinars and seminars, virtual thing I'm doing, my months are just like packed with these things, and but I just said that, decided back when COVID hit, I said, I ain't making no excuses, man. I'm not going to look back and sit here and let this disease and this time period and these pandemics stop me from being productive and fruitful. So I got more focused on marketing, more focused on sales, more focused on virtual programs and virtual coaching and all of that. And I wake up in the morning just like I was before when I was going live with these programs and putting my time in and pulling my team together, having meetings, talking about things. And guess what? Stayed the course, reinvented, rebranded, and all of that. And now this month of January was one of the most productive months and probably in my business's history during a pandemic. And the reason why is I ain't got time to make excuses. Can't make excuses. Cannot make excuses. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I got children, I got family, kids in school. I said, man, I ain't got time to go 10 steps backwards. I got to go 10 steps forward. And so my hope is that you'll look at today and say, man, if I'm making excuses for something I'm not doing, it's time for me to stop that. It's almost like you got to take excuse out for a cup of coffee and say, we need to talk. Sit right on over there, excuse, and let's have this conversation because I'm about to get rid of you. You're fired. Fire that excuse. Stop allowing it to keep you justified in why you don't do it. People talk about working out. I ain't got time to work out. I'm going to tell you something. You don't have more of a hectic, your schedule can't be more intense than mine, but I find an hour every day to work out. I don't miss it. If I got to get up a little earlier in the day, I don't miss it because why? That's an excuse. That's an excuse that I don't want to get out of bed. Well, try going to bed a little bit earlier. Get up, work out, strengthen yourself. So we make excuses for everything. Everything. Why I don't do this, why I don't say that, why I don't go here, why I don't go there, why I don't build this, why I don't, because now that excuse becomes part of the family. Yeah, I said that. Become part of the family. And it limits our ability to progress forward. So I want you to do this. I'm gonna give you one tip. One tip is this. And essentially, I was talking to Rachel Revel a little earlier. And some of you know Rachel does a lot of work in team building and time management and all that. And she was talking about how it's hard to even, and I hope she don't mind me saying this, but take a look at her. She's on Perfect Timing. You know what I mean? On Perfect Timing Concierge. Take a look at her stuff. But she's, what's interesting is this. We were talking about it's hard to coach a person that doesn't have a vision. It really is. It's hard to coach a person that doesn't have a vision. And so, so what happens is if a person doesn't, hey, Michael, how you doing, young man? It's good to see you, man. Let me tell you, coaching a person without a vision, I don't even know if there's any words that describes that. Because what are you coaching them towards? So that person can make excuses all day long because they don't even know where they're going in the first place. So you coaching them, then they're going to fault you and say, man, it's your coaching. No, it's you. You don't know where you want to go. You have no idea. So how am I going to coach you towards something and you don't even know what you're being coached towards? And so the reality is this. And here's the reality. The reality is you gotta say no excuses. Get rid of them. Don't allow them to hold you back. If I look at my life, the totality of my life, and I look at everything that has happened to me since I was a little, when I was younger, coming up, and there's a lot of good, but there was some bad. If I would take all those negatives and continually allow them to hold me back, you see, yeah, I know you are, Michael. I know exactly who you are, man. Thanks for jumping on. I remember exactly who you are, man. And so, I wouldn't be here today, you know. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here today having this conversation with you. I wouldn't be here doing, I don't know how many webinars and trainings we do every month, coaching the people that we're coaching. I wouldn't be writing these books. I got 2 new books I'm writing. I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff if I'd allowed my past to dictate the things I do today. No excuses. So going forward, with this, I just want you to understand that excuses is one of the number 1 dream killers out here. And I can't even count the number of people that have gone to the grave with their dreams inside of them. And I said, man, this person could have done this, or this person could have done that, or this person could have accomplished this goal. This person is going to accomplish that goal. But the reality is, ain't none of those goals going to be accomplished if you keep making excuses. You see? Hey, Wintra, how you doing? Yeah, good afternoon to you. None of them are going to. Yes, Michael, I will, man. Mike was one of my young people here, and he's talking family. But Mike, I'll let him know. I appreciate that, buddy. You take care. I mean, I love the young people. Michael's one of those young people I've mentioned working with young people. He's one of them, and he's on here now. I'm proud of you, man. I remember you very well, Michael, from our programs in Pennsylvania. So, yeah. But I'm gonna tell you, my thing is, like, when I coach people, I always go inside out with coaching because, I don't even want to take time to coach people who aren't going to dig deep and figure out what will be some of those stumbling blocks. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. So somebody talks about, again, Facebook user. There you go. I don't know who you are, but I get it. Oh my, procrastinating and excuses. There you go. You got to put your name in when you're on some of the Facebook, because I don't know who you are because that's Facebook user. But yeah, I mean, oh my, matter of fact, I would dare say, I think there may be Rachel, I'm not sure, but I'll tell you something. It may mean the thing that, I procrastinate because, yeah, hey, Katrina. All right, hey, Katrina. Yep. Yeah, there you go. I may procrastinate because I procrastinate because I make excuses. And so procrastination is a byproduct of my excuse. I don't have enough time, or I'll get to it later. And the reality is, you don't get to it later at all. You're never going to get to it. I mean, realistically, and so in order to achieve certain outcomes, you got to make sure you have systems in place. And like, again, every day I'm up working out, change this lifestyle of mine as far as, what I'm eating. But you know what? I have goals that I've written down that I look at every day that continue to inspire me towards doing what I said I'm going to do. Like, for instance, I mentioned the health part, and I'm a father with 4 beautiful children, and I had my children later in life. I mean, my son was, 20. I was 35 when I had my first child. Well, my first child. So my kids are younger, and I'm a little older. And I said, man, listen, I want to shoot hoops with my grandchildren. I want to be able to go jog and run and play and wrestle and do all the stuff grandfathers are supposed to do. And my daughter's 10. And I said, when she gets married, I want to walk her down the aisle. I don't want to limp her down the aisle. I don't want to wheelchair her down the aisle. I want to walk her, and I want to walk proud. I want to walk strong. I want to walk buff, all of that. So I get my butt up and go to the gym. I don't make no excuses. You know what I mean? I can. No, I'm doing the vegan thing, and it's not perfect, but I'm getting real good at it now. And you see what I'm saying? Yeah. There you go. Yeah, right. There you go. I mean, I'm just, I get up. I would love to stop by and get me a burger, and love me give me some fries. But the reality is, man, I'm going to get them bean burgers. I'm going over to Drop Squad in Wilmington, Delaware, and they got the best sandwiches in the world, and they got the best salads in the world with vegan bacon, and And guess what? Why? Because when I eat that, I don't feel heavy. I don't feel it digests differently. And then you start feeling your body feels different. You get your blood work done, and then all of a sudden your blood work, like, wow, doc, like, what you doing? It's called no excuses. I'm not making excuses. Nobody, listen, I always tell people, it's funny. I say some strange things sometimes, y'all, but I try to get people to think. And so I tell people all the time, like, these are my hands. Okay. These are my hands. Like, for instance, with young people, I'll give you an example. Young people, I do a lot of motivational things for youth because I just love helping young people. Now, we do more stuff with adults, but now, before we used to do a lot more with youth, but now we do more with adults. But I would always, when we talk about, staying away from drugs, I would say, put your hands up. All right. And I'll have them move their hands around, do all kinds of stuff, move them just like this. And I'm telling them all of this. Then I asked them a question. I said, who told you, why are you doing this? Like, I'll say, well, what is it? Why are you moving your hands? Why you do? And now they look at me confused. Like, I said, why? I said, because your mind just told you to. I gave you the instruction, but you followed through mentally and you did it. I said, so that same hand you lifted during this motivational speech is the same hand you will go and grab some drugs and put it in your mouth or put it in your nose or smoke it. You have control over this hand. This hand doesn't control you. This hand doesn't control you. This hand is the hand that you go grab that burger or go grab those French fries or go grab that, hey, coach, this is too hard. Coach, what are you talking about? No, what I'm talking about is no excuses and self-discipline. You see? And so I'm saying this because like right now, I've been telling people all over this country through a variety of different mediums, this is a phenomenal time of opportunity. I know COVID's out here. I know this next wave is out here. I know it all. I've lost several good friends to this thing, and it's tears. Man, it's incredible. But as we sit here and we look at our lives in its totality, this is a phenomenal time for opportunity. But we got to stop making excuses. Start looking for the opportunities. So you may want to look at building yourself a dream team, people that you can hold accountable to. You may want to look at hiring a coach, somebody like me or others who can assist with being accountable towards the outcomes. And whenever somebody tells me I don't have the money or the time to invest, you know what I mean? And some of these folks, they have the money. I said, well, you're not serious about it. Because the reality is I've invested a whole lot to be what I am today in other people and other professionals to learn and to grow. Why? Because I'm not making excuses. I'm not making excuses. And I would hope after today's presentation, you won't as well. I'll tell you something. One thing I'll say about being a dreamer, I'm going to be honest with you, a person that dreams and pursues goals and dreams. You're not going to have a lot of people that's going to like you too much because you represent something that for them is a challenge. They see through what you're doing, they see themselves a certain way, and sometimes that causes frustration. But the reality is, at some point in your life, you got to live for you. So I'm gonna tell you another excuse not to make. Stop letting people be an excuse. Stop letting people who close to you be an excuse. Because sometimes the closest people, like family or friends, could be a great hindrance to your progress. Don't let them do that to you. Because you have something you need to deposit into this planet, and you need to be the one to get out there and make it happen. And if they can't respect that nor appreciate that, whatever. You know what I mean? I've lost a whole lot of people just by being a person with a dream. I'm telling you, man, the folks that you look up and you're like, my goodness, where'd they go? Because of all the stuff that they're dealing with, they can't see the potential in you. Or your potential frustrates them. Now, that wasn't part of this presentation. I just added that as a bonus. Because the reality is a lot of times we don't move forward because we're too concerned about what other people think. And I always looked at life like this. I'm living my life. I don't have time for people to get on board with this. The ones who are on board, we're running. You know who my people are. You hear me talk about Darren Price, CEO of Wright Price Companies up in Syracuse, New York. You hear me talk about Pierre Campbell, you know what I mean? President, CEO, power presenter, consultant, Pierre Camp in Virginia. And you hear me talk about Rachel Revel, you know what I mean? Perfect timing concierge, time management expert, and efficiency expert. These are my people, man. We get together, it's game time. And there's others out there. Then, those are my, that's my, but there's others out there who I interact with and synergize with. Jan Vanderhoop up in Canada. We just had a phone, email, an exchange. But Fit First Technologies, and a new person, Josh Davies, Center for Workforce Ethics. We're going to be meeting and talking about some things and strategizing in DC. I'm running with people, man, that are running, people who are committed, to doing things right. And so you had that core group of people, you know what I mean? And so what the reality is, then all these other folks, who, can't seem to get with it, you can smile and say what's up to them, but then continue to move on. So that's all I have. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Too many pans in the fire and get overwhelmed. But the reality is, start narrowing it down. When you're trying to pursue something, make it streamlined. Make it streamlined. You can't do it all. I always tell people, don't be a jack of all trades and master of none. Know what it is you want and focus on that, and all the other opportunities will present themselves. But don't try to do too much. So whoever shared that post with us, the reality is, don't put too many irons on the fire. Maybe start with one and build to two, then three and four. I didn't start writing books. I started speaking and training. Then I started consulting, and then I started writing books. I didn't do them all at the same time. It took me a while to start doing all this stuff. And so, but that's all I have for now. If you have any questions, reach out to us, as I always do. Here's a website. You can send a message through LinkedIn. And I'm telling you right now, it's a fun time for me. We're impacting a lot of people in a very positive way, and I'm enjoying the journey. But I also like to see people enjoy. I like to see people maximize their potential. So I do these LinkedIn lives and YouTube lives. I stream to several things because I just want to share some wisdom from 20 plus years of doing what I do. I've been doing this a long time, and so you don't last this long without learning something. And so we're sharing some information that hopefully could be helpful. So today we're talking about creating a no excuses, a life philosophy. Get rid of those excuses. You know what I mean? I know it's a challenge. Some things may seem hard or difficult. Get rid of those excuses and start moving into your destiny. Take care.